Well, it looks like the College of Policing might have actually come up with an idea that's actually helpful and useful. The College of Policing's Chief Executive, Andy Marsh, has called for a new code of practice for the policing of violence against women and girls. Although I don't like this idea that it's gender specific, it should simply be a more suitable code of practice for dealing with every member of the public. But otherwise we could end up with a code of practice for every subset of society, which is bloody ridiculous. This comes after the report last month into police conduct that found that male police officers were watching porn on duty, pestering female colleagues for sex, and stopping cars driven by fit women, commissioned following the kidnap, rape and murder of Sarah Everard. The report also called for police forces to carry out extra checks on staff internet use as part of their vetting investigations after it was uncovered that many police were allowed to join the force despite having questionable, discriminatory or extremist content on their social media profiles. Andy Marsh said in an interview that we failed victims, we failed them systematically. I think everyone in the criminal justice system, which has failed too many victims too often, needs to take a long hard look at themselves and put that system back together again in a way that works much more effectively. So basically what the public have been saying for years, yeah? But just because you've finally said it does not get you off the hook for being a part of it in the first place. Although there are plenty of people out there who will simply hear your words and forget that as the head of the College of Policing you have had some power to make changes before, but haven't. He said he wanted to have a new code of practice giving guidance on how to run violence against women and girls investigations and how to treat victims before the end of 2023. That's the firmest approach that we can take to policing standards, and that's what I would like to do, he said, adding, if you treat officers as professionals and give them the training, knowledge and skills to apply their judgment, they will do a much better job. So it's taken, nearly 200 years of policing for someone who has been complicit in allowing the culture in police to propagate to finally come out and say what the rest of us have been saying for fucking years. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a good thing in a way, but instead of this focus on women and girls, it should be better training, knowledge and skills to deal with the public as a whole. I think this is still feeding into that divisive mindset that the police and government have, ramping up this fear campaign to make women worried about men and frightened of us, while making reports of incidents that aren't police-related incidents, which gives people criminal records over so-called hate crimes and is being abused by certain people to punish others without there being any evidence of a bloody crime. Misogyny is classed as a hate crime too, by the way, but I don't believe that there's anything to suggest misandry has ever been filed under that same offence heading. Not very fair if you ask me. But it is clearly a step in the right direction. We just need to get the police to get out of this violence against women and girls mindset and start thinking about everybody that they have to deal with as a whole, as a collective, as a society. Don't think it's going to happen though.